Are you ever going through so many problems in a row and you just wanna... Yeah, that was me this week. Let's talk about how I worked through it. This week has been so incredibly frustrating. I have had printer issue after printer issue, after phone screen cracking, after shows getting moved around, canceled, etc. Like, it's just built and built and built. And I feel like this amount of issues, like, in one go has really been a test for, my mentality, my perseverance, and just my level of patience when it comes to dealing with this, like, amount of frustration. So I want to walk you through the actions and the bits of mentality reminders that I have been giving to myself to get me through this very frustrating time. So without further ado, let's get into it. One thing that I think is really important when we're going through problems like this is making sure that our life is well balanced. So basically making sure we're taking the time to eat, sleep, take care of our health, do anything else that, makes us feel joy and just like a person and not like we're constantly working. And I feel like this is important because whenever we really want something, whenever we have like a goal that we're really working toward every day, we tend to want to give so much energy to it that we can avoid like taking breaks and stuff because we want it so bad. And I feel like what happens when we don't take breaks is we're more prone to make mistakes because we're not refreshed when we're reapproaching our work. So even if the problem that you came across isn't a mistake that you made, it's something out of your control, taking a break, taking a breather, going for a walk, doing something like meditation, whatever it is for you that works, instead of like sitting in the frustration of being so mad that that thing happened and trying to solve it immediately, will help you solve the problem so much faster, because when you reapproach the issue, you're going to have a refreshed, ready to go, ready to problem solve mind, instead of just sitting there clutching so tight, wanting to figure it out so bad and being frustrated at the same time. Take a second, do what you need to do, relax, you got this. We're back inside now, so I am going to work on making a journal while we talk about the rest of the things that have helped me. I'm really excited about this one. This is a stippling drawing of mine, and I think it looks awesome as a journal cover. Also, the moon card is like uncovering things that you have not yet seen, which I feel like journaling really does, so I would personally love this as a journal. That's why I'm making it. But my next point is remembering your why. So whenever you're coming across a lot of trials and tribulations, I think it's important to remember why you're doing what you're doing in the first place. And, what about it brings you joy? Why do you, it doesn't bring you joy, but you like need it, There's a lot of different reasons that our whys can come into play. And I feel like thinking about that and just thinking about like the bigger picture of, why you're doing this at all just really helps like ground you in the fact that it's okay to run into these issues. It's okay to, have like some adversity that you have to deal with along the way, because like you're gonna deal with it, especially whenever you remember your why. It's like, okay, I have to figure this out. Like, this is like, I'm really passionate about this thing or whatever, or like I said, you need it, whatever your why is. I like, this is not something I have the choice to figure out, which I think it can lead to like more frustration. But at the same time, if you hold on to the positive energy of the big picture, it can definitely be really beneficial. Another thing that's really helped me in this process is reframing the way that I think about the situation. So when we say reframing, we mean basically changing the verbiage that you think around how you talk about what happened. So, for instance, instead of being like, I'm so annoyed that this happened, I literally can't believe this kind of crap is happening to me, I am so frustrated, this is so stupid, I don't feel like dealing with this, blah, blah, blah. Instead of thinking all of that negative talk, especially when it gets into being negative towards yourself, change it to being, oh, okay, this happened. What can I learn from this? How am I going to benefit from this? How can I avoid this mistake in the future? Basically, we can choose to reframe our issues as being things that help us along our journey and really show us things that we never would have learned unless we learned them the hard way, to be honest. I think this is like a big part of life, and I do believe just being positive is such a big deal in terms of the way that you feel on a daily basis. So reframing anything really, no matter the situation, to kind of lead you to something where it actually ended up being, you know, something that was supposed to happen, is always key in a lot of scenarios, but especially when you're super frustrated and you're just coming across all these issues. Change the way you think about it, and it'll change the way you feel about it. Another thing that I like to do when I have a bunch of issues arising is I like to remind myself how good it's going to feel when I overcome the challenge, when I get beyond the issue and solve it. You know, how good it's going to feel whenever I'm done. Like, I feel like whenever we accomplish something, even if it was smooth sailing the whole time, we're obviously going to be like, wow, I did that. But when we run into challenges and we still manage to get the outcome that we want, it's that much more rewarding because we know that we persevered through the challenges. So think bigger picture, even if bigger picture is just like you can solve the issue with by the end of the day or whatever. You know, think how you're going to feel at the end of the day and let that be, you know, a bit of a guiding force for getting you through it. And I know that's a little bit like, not to say like not trusting the journey, it's more so like not enjoying the journey as much, which, I mean, if you're really frustrated that something happened, it can be really hard to enjoy that part of it. Like, I feel like not all parts of the journey are meant to be like happy-go-lucky, super enjoyable, even though they do say like, enjoy the process, like blah, blah, blah. Like, there's gonna be times when you're frustrated. So in those times that you are frustrated, just think about how happy you're gonna feel at the end and how you're gonna be like, wow, I did that, okay? Like, I've got it done. We overcame. I didn't throw the towel in and like give up. We're not giving up. That's not what we're doing. Okay? Okay. Lastly, I really just want you to remember that this is life. And there's gonna be things like this that come up that are really frustrating that you have to go through and you just don't feel like dealing with them. You know, maybe you were on a roll and it just feels like a halt, you know. There's going to be times in life that we deal with adversity, and there is the saying that's not the amount of times that you fall, it's the amount of times you get back up. And it might be cheesy, but the cheesy sayings are usually pretty freaking true. You know that there's a reason that people say that thing, okay? You know it. We all know it. So I really, really think that to be true. My best friend, she actually failed her first semester of uni for her like chosen career path 3 times. She's currently going back for a 4th time, and she, like I said, she failed the first semester the first 3 times. She already passed the first semester and now passed the second semester. And no matter how heartbreaking and hard that was for her, I already see her graduating and getting through it and inevitably one day being like failing that many times and trying again actually like shaped me into who I was. I really think that the way that we deal with these challenges can really just be character building. So that's another way of reframing. If that's one of your reframing techniques that you want to think is, hey, I'm becoming a better version of me by going through this issue. Is it annoying? Yeah, it is, but we teach ourselves that we're not quitters, that we're going to keep going, that we're going to keep pushing, that no matter what pops up in life for us, we got this. We're going to continue to get it done and be the kind of person that we want to be. So just remember that these things are going to come up. There's going to be other times in your life where problem after problem is happening, and you are going to get through it, whether you get through it or with grace or not. So I hope this video gave you some ideas on how to get through these issues with as much grace and as little frustration as possible. If you stuck around with me for this long, thank you so much. I really hope you subscribe below if you liked it. And I'd love to keep you, but if I don't, either way, I hope you have a peaceful rest of your night, week, and life. Bye.